Every time I'm starting to do these videos, I tell everybody how I have to.
There's a fee.
Yeah.
There's a vig. It's coffee and a donut. Fat guys love donuts, man.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Even better now that you brought me some coffee.
There you go. See, every time I'm starting to do these videos, I tell everybody how I have to.
There's a fee.
Yeah.
There's a vig. It's coffee and a donut. Fat guys love donuts, man.
A lot of people still say that you're a cop. I tell them that you're not
Oh,
retired.
the donut theme goes right in the theme.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Ah, that's right. In my past life, I was a cop.
There you go. Here's a good question for you. And, I had thought of this idea prior to coming here, and then I forgot about the idea. Now I remembered it because you just started talking to me about it. I get some DMs from people asking me how I got into buying and selling precious metals, and they want to start getting into it. I thought it would be really cool to talk to you about the pros and cons and things that people need to know about opening up either a coin shop or just getting into buying and selling precious metals. So, what are some things that people need to look for and to be mindful of?
So you got to think about, is it a hobby? For me, originally it was. I've been collecting coins since I was a kid. So I had an idea. At least I went into this business thinking I had an idea. There was a giant power curve or learning curve that I really wasn't aware of until I stepped into the world. Fortunately for me, I have a mentor who's been in the business for 30-something years. Without him, I wouldn't say that I would have been a failure, but it would have been a much more painful experience. So getting on to answering your questions, you have to think of a few things. So where do you want to go with this? Are you looking to do it on the side just to make a couple extra bucks on the side? Are you looking to make a business out of this? Do you want to get out of your job and go do something else? And, it seems it's like everything else. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
The cons to this is you have to understand, I'm here every day. Even on my days off, oftentimes I end up having to come in here to take care of, we do extensive eBay stuff, so every day I need to ship out items. There's no getting away from that. When I'm home, I'm answering questions for eBay. I have people calling, and I'm even answering phones when I'm not at work. So it's something that you're married to. You're going to be part of it. And you might say, you know what, I'm just going to do it on my normal business hours. And that was actually my attitude in the beginning.
Right.
But I'm realizing that the further you get into it, the larger your clientele base gets, the more you have to interact.
Sure.
Now, yes, you can certainly limit that, and I do. But still, to be a good shop and to be on top of it, you're going to have to be involved. So that's one aspect to think about. The other thing, too, is your financial. Where are you? This is not a cheap game. That I can tell you. What's your risk tolerance for the finances? I stepped into this with a lump of money, and I find myself looking for more because you think that $100,000 is a lot of money. It is not. It'll go away extremely fast, faster than you could think.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Meaning in inventory. I'm not saying that it goes away and it's gone forever, but it turns it into inventory. If you think about it, gold at $2,000 an ounce. Dealers don't make a ton of money on gold. To be honest with you, it's probably one of my least favorite products to sell because I make the least amount of money. There's a very small margin there for me, and it's very expensive. It'll tie up a lot of your capital very quickly. The name of the game is to get in and get out. So move, turn it over, make your inventory, go away, replace it, go away, replace it. That's how you make money in this business. The other thing they have to understand is, as a dealer, with the volatile market that we're in, you buy things at a peak and then it falls off.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're into your product at a loss. You have to be ready to get rid of those products at a loss. I think this is where a lot of people make the mistake is, I can't sell it because I've paid too much for it and now I'm going to get less than I paid. That's a bad move. That's a sure way to be broke quick. The thing is, again, remember I was telling you got to get in and out of these metals. So you need to sell at a loss and reinvest down at the bottom of that hill.
Right.
And you'll make your monies back on the way back up. The key is, again, to reinvest that money. But if it gets locked up and you take that chunk of change and you're not turning that money over, then you're going to lose. So you have to be willing to take a loss at times. Obviously, we try to mitigate that, at most the cost. So therefore, this is where the buying strategy comes into play. A lot of people think that, he gets a great deal, he buys his stuff at a really cheap. Well, that's really not true. Here at my store, I try to pay as strongly as I possibly can. And a lot of times I have to explain, when I buy a product, 99% of the time I have an out for it. And normally that means on a wholesale market, meaning that another dealer is going to come to me and say, hey, I know that I could sell this product to another dealer for this much money, and I have to work off of that number. The retail part of the business is a relatively small part. A lot of it is wholesale. It's dealer to dealer type of sales.
Yeah, and going off of what you said too, I've seen people within the community who do try to buy and sell silver and gold. They see what some people on YouTube are able to do, not so much coin shops, right? Because coin shops, you have your brick and mortar, you have a whole bunch of other whole bunch of other issues that come with that. But somebody in the position like myself or other YouTubers that have a platform in which they're engaged in e-commerce, the buying and selling of precious metals, I do and have seen individuals buy thinking that the stuff is going to go up, they're going to make a lot of money, and all of a sudden the market drops, or more of that particular product just hits again. Like we just saw that happen with some of the Marvel coins recently, right? The prices were really high on eBay for certain coins. All of a sudden there was a company that was selling them that flooded the market with...
they became available again.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you see those prices drop, and the people that bought at the $70 per coin, $75 per coin, now they see them for cheaper briefly.
Yeah.
And
it won't last long.
No, right.
But I think the point you're trying to make here is that buying on speculation is a dangerous game.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people tend to let their emotions get involved instead of looking at the hard facts.
Right.
There's certain products that I enjoy personally. I like the Marvel series, to be honest with you. I like the world coins. I mean, I think we all can see that from my past videos, or our past videos, that it's something I enjoy. I have a lot of following because of that particular area. But I got to be careful with that because that's not my bread and butter. That's a kind of a fun thing. And you can easily tie up a lot of that money and lock it up into a slower moving product. And that's a dangerous game in this world. You need to be into stuff that you can move. Again, it's back about that speed of money. How fast can you turn the money over?
Right.
The faster you could turn it over and reinvest it, and faster you could turn it back over again and reinvest it, that's the name of the game. That's what all of your big banks do. That's what all of your big money makers, that's what they're doing. That is the secret.
Yeah, we did a video not too long ago. I think I still haven't published it yet. I think probably Friday of this week I'm gonna drop it. But we were talking about the world coins and that higher premium stuff, and you said that makes up about 10% of your business.
Yep.
And the other majority of it is the just the straight up bullion, silver and gold.
Yeah, and even that's at times it's a very hot thing. But listen, it has its cycles, right? It gets hot and then it gets cold. We're at a downtime right now where things are a lot slower in the precious metals. So you got to have other areas that you're able to make money. Again, we do eBay. Some of your tchotchke items, believe it or not, there's days when I make my daily payroll from selling smalls. It's a day of selling, and my maximum profit I've made on any one particular thing might be $25.
Right.
But you sell a whole bunch of it. So you have to have different irons and different pots. You can't get focused on one particular thing. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doable, but it's tough.
Now, I've said to you, it's cool to have a coin shop, right? Like, it'd be cool to own your own business. And the one thing that you do have a knowledge about that I certainly don't is, numismatics. There's just so much with that. You have just the history, the number of different coins. Then you've got the foreign stuff. The wealth of knowledge that somebody needs to have in order to just conduct business in that area. To me, that's overwhelming.
Yeah, right. So to take a coin, a numismatic type of coin over the counter and be able to judge that coin and grade that coin is a knowledge that takes a lifetime to learn. I'm not perfect at it. But I don't think if any coin dealer told you that they were perfect at it, then you could straight up tell them a liar, because some of the guys that I know, the very best guys that I know in the business, still make mistakes. They'll send that coin off for grading, comes back in a body bag, it was cleaned.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing. How is that possible? But then you really get down and you study that particular coin. Of course, now it's like forefront, right? You're focused on it. Usually you can understand what happened, but it happens to the best of them.
Yeah.
That's where the numismatic end of this game is difficult. It can be difficult, and it takes a lot of experience.
Also, I would imagine, in order for somebody to run a successful coin shop, you have to have connections. You have to be able to, you've got, your wholesalers, you have the other potential people that are going to buy from you. It's not like one of those things where you're like, you have your hobby, like, I'm really into coins. You know what? I'm going to start a business today. You open up a store, and then you're just kind of sitting there. Like, do you feel going into it like you need to have an established network already?
I would suggest that if you're going to go into it for a brick and mortar, that you would probably want to do, you better have something, because you cannot depend on people coming through the door. I would say that 50 to 60% of my business is generated on the phone, done on e-commerce. I have days, I have weeks that sometimes when it's super slow in here, I have my regulars coming in and they're not spending a lot of money. That happens. So you have to have a way to be able to weather those downtimes. It's not all rosy where you have people coming in here selling your collections and you're making hand over fist money. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
Believe me, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Like I said, it's all about the wholesale. Most of the time, it's dealer to dealer. Sometimes a dealer will come to you with something and you're working on pennies, but you're just transacting. You're moving forward, and sometimes it's on a very small margin. But that's what it takes. And if people don't know you, where this is going to lead into my next point, but if people don't know you, then, and you don't know other people in the business, it's difficult, which is the reason why I was a little more comforted to get into this business, because I do have a mentor that's been in this business for 30 years. He was respected internationally. So I've leaned on him at times when I needed the resource, which leads me to my next point. Honesty and integrity. Really, really, really important. So another thing that was tough to learn is, you come into this, a ball of fire, you're like, man, I'm going to sell this particular coin, and I know I can make this much money, and you're not really leaving much meat on the bone, even for your retail customers. It's important to leave enough meat on the bone that they walk away and they felt like they got a deal on it, and they indeed did get a deal, because that means they're going to come back. I think a lot of folks run into the issue where coin might be worth, for example, $200, and they want their $200 for that. If you back off $10 or $15 on a coin like that, I'm not saying that always you want to do that, but a lot of times that $15 will make you 4 or 5 times that in the long run with that customer, because you did give them a deal. They're going to come back. And again, that's where honesty and integrity come in. You don't want to sell them a trouble coin. Us dealers, we do this every day. There are coins, it's very difficult to tell that it's been cleaned. There's been issues with it, and you certainly could pass that off to the public as if it didn't have issues. If you get into that world, you're asking for a lot of trouble. You're asking, you're going to get a name, and that's where the other dealers are going to not respect you anymore, and you're just hurting yourself. So it's not something that I believe in. It's something I won't do. I've been on both sides of the fence. So I definitely understand what it means when you get a coin that's a trouble coin. It's it's a problem.
Let me ask you this: what would you say is the one single most difficult aspect of this business? If you could point
learning
to
people, right? So I have all different ethnicities. I have diverse people. I mean, the crew coming in here is from young kids to moderates, of people who are learning about the metals, that want to get into the coins, the people who've been doing it for 30 years, 40 years. Different personalities. Some people are very aggressive, some people are not. But learning how to manage different people is probably one of the toughest things to do.
That's interesting. Completely different answer than I would have expected. I would have thought you would have said, being tethered to the store 24/7 or something along those lines.
You know what? So right, the advantage of this is though I enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. I like being here. I enjoy the coins. I enjoy the bullion. I enjoy the people.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for me.
Yeah. Well, I think that at least, you brought up a lot of good points that people that are thinking about getting into the business or thinking about starting to buy and sell, you brought up a lot of points that they should listen to. I think we'll probably do another one of these just because I think it's very relevant, and I think a lot of people can learn from it, especially from somebody like yourself who was in law enforcement and now is in precious metals. But I appreciate the time today, buddy, and enjoy your coffee.
Anytime, Stormy.
And I would like to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't already become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, this is Empire Precious Metals. Until next time, long live the Empire.